Nari McDiarmid with you here at Future of Mining in Perth, and I'd like to welcome Dr. Julie Sunday, Canada's High Commissioner to Australia. And Julie, we've seen a series of announcements during PDAC and your Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent visit to Australia. How do you view the collaboration between Canada and Australia in critical minerals?
Yeah, thank you. So thanks again for having me. It's fantastic to be here in sunny Perth. Look, the collaboration is going exceptionally well. In fact, I would actually hasten to say it's never been better. I think this speaks a little bit to the times we're in, which are fairly tumultuous, complicated, and so for Canada and Australia as two key supplier nations of critical minerals, to work together is incredibly important because the stakes are high and we really do need to ensure that we're establishing safe, resilient supply chains in critical minerals for each of us. So, of course, this has started with sort of broad discussions. It will be no surprise to you that Canada and Australia are long-term competitors in mining, but it's really nice to see the tone shift. And we first saw that around Canada and Australia, of course, established our joint declaration for cooperation on critical minerals. And that was signed by both of our ministers of natural resources. It establishes a frame for us to work together to look at how we produce critical minerals, how we're innovating, doing R&D around that. And importantly, it sets up a mechanism for us to be able to speak around and share what we're doing around our respective strategic reserves, and what we're doing around stockpiling. And it's super important that we work in a complementary way in those areas because the scale of the challenge is just so great. So I would say that sort of put in place the government piece. Of course, Prime Minister Carney's visit to Australia and his historic speech to Parliament highlighted. He spoke about how important the work we are doing on critical minerals is. We were very pleased to invite Australia to be part of the G7 Critical Minerals Production Alliance. That was also announced during the Prime Minister's visit here. And what that means is, what we are doing is very practical things to ensure that G7 countries and key partners like Australia are working to develop critical minerals capacity that's going to be able to sustain our strategic capabilities moving forward. These minerals underpin all of everything we're doing, right? Whether it's AI, defense, telecommunications, you name it. It starts with critical minerals. And so it just makes good sense for Canada and Australia to be working together on that.
Julie, you mentioned a more collaborative rather than competitive tone. What type of Canadian companies are finding success here?
Yeah, so I think what we're seeing is a lot of success for companies that are working to, uh, you know, ensure that production is responsible, efficient. So, for example, we had a big delegation of clean energy companies here, clean tech for mining. This was last month, and technologies range from remote site power operations to reduce reliance on diesel, to other kind of AI enabled tools to create more efficiencies and to improve productivity. So that's kind of one area. I would say Canada's leadership in AI is also creating a number of opportunities in mining. And so we have companies such as Verify and Geologic AI who are improving exploration through advanced analytics. And we also have a company called Idion Technologies that's using something called muon tomography to generate detailed 3D images of ore bodies. So this reduces the amount of exploration on land by using analytics, and that's really desirable to in both Canada and Australia to accelerating our ability to move forward on projects. Right? I mean, obviously, the challenge is always getting these projects online and moving as quickly as possible. And so, some of these new technologies are going to enable that and are extremely beneficial to both Canada and Australia.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for taking the time to
you.
speak.